All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Live Team Alliance training session for Tuesday, October 16th. Time right now is approximately 8:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am your host, Mark Fuller, and we are on the charts as usual. Before we get started with tonight's training, I'd like to welcome all of our new students. Those of you joining us in training for the first time, you definitely made a wise decision by joining us in training, because you're going to learn a great deal of information about yourself primarily, and you're going to learn a few things about the market. The reason that learning about yourself is so important is because you're going to need to really work on the level of patience that you have. Most people are impatient by nature. Patience is something that you really have to learn how to not only develop, but how to execute. Once you figure out that patience is necessary, you then have to actually do it. Like, you have to be patient. You have to literally wait. So what that means is that patience is something that is ongoing, especially with what we're doing in trading. So the market is half the battle. The rest of it is you. And the market's going to teach you a great deal, but we're going to try our best to teach you things so that you can avoid the pain that is associated with what the market teaches you. Because I can assure you it's painful when you lose money. So we basically begin our process when we come on these charts. We perform what's called a play-by-play. Play-by-play is simply where we're observing the market and studying the behavior of the market. The reason that that's important is because the way that the price of the market moves basically determines whether or not we're going to be able to position ourselves to win a trade. Okay? Just in general, the market is going to determine whether we win a trade or not. The market determines the winner and the loser. The reason that I'm making reference to winning and losing is because of what we're trading. We're trading binaries. On this platform, this is the Nadex platform, we're looking at 5-minute binaries, which are listed up here in the ladder. And we're also looking at the underlying market that we're watching, the market that these binaries are based on. That market in particular is the GBP USD, or the pound dollar. This is our market of choice to watch. Now, if you're someone who's coming from a Forex background, you might already be familiar with a different market, maybe the Aussie or the Euro or the dollar yen. Those markets are fine. I recommend that whatever market you decide on watching and observing and studying, you limit your action to dealing with that one market, because you need to learn the behavior. You need to become familiar with the actual cycles that the market goes through. And every market does something different, regardless of whether they are correlated, like the euro dollar and the pound dollar and the Aussie dollar. Those three markets are correlated, meaning that they have something in common, which is the dollar. But they also are separate because each of those opposite sides of the pairs are different. The euro is different from the Aussie, which is different from the pound. So I cannot reiterate and stress to you enough how important it is for you to limit your market watching to one market. Okay? So whatever market you decide on watching, let it be one. All right? And let me see here. Yeah, y'all continue to run the play-by-play. What was that last binary? This one here. That looks like a jerk to me. I was not watching it, so I can't say for sure. Okay, so Joshua was saying what I said. Joshua was saying it was a jerk. All right, that's good enough. We know what it ain't. We know it's not move whole. And those of you who are new, you'll hear terminology that we're using. You may not have any idea what we're talking about yet if you're brand new, but the videos in particular within the playlist that I gave you that I want you to watch are videos number 92 and video number 55 in particular. You're going to start with those two videos, and those videos are going to familiarize you with the actual process that we use to validate or to disqualify the trades, the actual entries that we take into trades in the market. Okay, those videos go over and give us clarity on the parameters or the rules of engagement, the way that we actually get into trades. What we're covering on live training tonight, and what we have been covering pretty much in every live training, more so now, is our study of the behavior of the market. The behavioral part comes before applying the parameters, because you need to know and be aware of the actual environment that you're in. So the environment in the market that you're in at the time is going to determine whether or not it makes sense to even take a trade at the time. So you'll find that not only do we perform the play-by-play consistently, but we actually don't do anything else until we know exactly what the behavior in the market is at the time. Okay? So the play-by-play is the most important thing that we're doing, and it's the first thing that we're doing when we actually come on the chart. So again, if you're brand new and you're unfamiliar with the terminology that we're using, then, you know, just be patient when you're watching these videos and when you're in training, because it's all going to actually open up for you and you'll understand. So right now you see that we're actually at the end of this binary, and you see how we only have, what, a minute and change remaining? We're at the end of the binary, and the reason that this is important is because the end of the binary represents the actual end of the 5-minute period that we have to decide what we're actually going to do. And also what takes place when this expires is you're going to see the decision being made by the market as to who wins or who loses the trade. So when you're looking at the actual binary ladder, you're seeing the strike prices or the lines that are also displayed down here on the chart. Okay? So these lines represent the price levels of the actual options that you're looking at. So you're going to look at whatever line is relevant to where the actual market is positioned at the time. And as you're doing this and you're observing the way that price is moving, you're literally conducting study of the market's behavior in the process. So it's through this entire process that you're going to know whether or not the environment in the market is even conducive for you to take trades. So in other words, if you're applying the parameters during the wrong environment in the market, that's when you position yourself to potentially lose a trade because the market is doing too much. So you don't want to do that. You want to position yourself to observe not only the parameters to get into a trade, but you want to see how price is moving even before that. You see? So this is what the study of the market that we're doing is and why it's important. Because we need to know what the behavior is in advance. So knowing that positions us to take the trade when it comes and to take it with confidence. Anthony, you took a trade? You must have took a trade if you're saying that. You took one just now? Was it this last one? Hold on, let me see what the... Which one? This one right here? This? He said I got him with 45 seconds left, but then it popped. I'm assuming you got in what? On the short? So you got in, you sold the market there. Joshua is saying that it priced out even before that. Although I wasn't watching it, just from how it looks, you applied the parameters, of course, I'm assuming. But what other reason did you have to take a trade right now, other than the fact that the trade set up in your eyes? What other reason did you have to trade? What gave you permission or gave you confidence to take that trade? And I'm just asking just to have an idea of what you're actually thinking about, or what you're seeing, or what you thought that you might have seen. You said because it held 5 pips away on the candle before. When you say the candle before, you mean this candle? This is good information because it's letting me know what you're doing. So you're saying that because the previous candle held, you felt confident to take this trade. Were you observing the behavior of the previous binaries? Like, were you looking at what the behavior at the end of the last binary did and the end of the one before that did? Like, do you see what the behavior is at the end of the previous 2 binaries? Like the actual binaries, not the candles. The actual 5-minute binaries that we're watching. And I'm only asking this because I want to see if you're understanding what it is that we do when we're studying well, not the binaries, but we're studying the market utilizing the binaries. Okay. Okay. And that's all right. It's important that you kind of get out what you're doing so you understand where you are within the process and understand where you need to make adjustments. That's very important. Okay, so, all right, so, let's continue on with what I actually just was talking about because it's gonna help you make more sense of what you're actually doing. Now, just in general, like right now we have observed what, 3 binaries since we've been on the chart? Since I came on training, we've looked at 3 binaries. See what the behavior is here? Reverse hold. This one right here was a jerk. Very good, Gage. Thank you very much, sir. And this one right here is a jerk. Now, Anthony, when we're basically putting ourselves in position to take a trade, what is the one thing that you have to see first before you take a trade? Before you actually take a trade? Tell me what that is. The one thing that you actually have to see first before you even decide on applying the parameters and taking a trade. What do you need to see first? And if you're not sure, you can say that also. So Anthony said, for me, speed has to basically almost stop. Okay, so you want slow condition. All right? Very good. Once you have a slow condition, what's the next thing that you need to see? Very next thing. Anthony said, I like to see decent structure, lots of holds. Now, when you say lots of holds, be specific about that. Are you talking about the candles in general, or are you talking about the end of the binaries? Which, when you make reference to it, which one are you referring to? The candles. Okay. I think that right there is probably one of the things that is going to give you a hard time, because if you're basing your decision making off of candles in general, you're not actually looking at behavior. You're not actually observing the way that the price is moving, because that would mean that you're sitting in front of the chart and you're literally looking at every minute and looking at how the price is moving during every minute to create the candles that you see. So because doing that is going to create analysis paralysis, basically, where after a while everything starts looking alike. It starts looking all the same. So you don't even know what you're looking at if you look at the charts for too long. This is why we break up our process the way that we do. You know, we got a timer where we don't even come to the chart until we're at the minute 30 mark. All of that is very specific and is done by design. Like, you know, I don't do things like that accidentally. I know why I'm doing it. So what I'm leading up to is that you want to make sure when you're observing the way that the price is moving, that you're paying attention to the behavior primarily during the most important part of the binary. Now, Anthony, what is the most important part of the binary? The last minute. So in actuality, you really need to focus your attention on what the price is doing during the last minute of every 5 minutes. So in other words, every 5 minutes that rolls over, you are more concerned about what the price is doing during the last one. And there's a very, yes, not every candle in between. Not to say that you don't have to look at that, or if you're comfortable and you feel good about looking at that, you know, well, don't do that. No, I'm not saying that. If that's what you like to do, it's fine. But I don't want you to base your decision making off of it. And that's what you just told me that you did. When I asked you the question as to why you did that, you said because the candle before it looked good. That's exactly what you said. So I want you to be clear as to the reasons why we're doing what we're doing specifically. And even if you choose to do other things that help you and are a tool, let them be a tool for you, but don't let them lead you. So in other words, looking at every candle is not, don't let that lead you into a trade. Don't let that be the reason that you took the trade. There's really only reason why you'll take a trade. MRMH. That's it. When you see that the market is slow, all you're waiting for is a binary to give you Mark's rule with move and hold at the end of the binary. Like that's literally all you're waiting for. If you don't see that, there is no trade. Let me repeat that. You're waiting for, in a slow condition, a Mark's rule and a move and hold as far as the behavior at the end of that validated trade. Okay? That's what you're waiting for during a slow condition. If that does not happen, there is no trade. Period. So in other words, there is nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do. So if you're not doing that, like if you take a trade and then you can't tell me the reason that I need to hear why you took it, then you're not doing it right. And I'm not, you know, I'm not saying it like this to try to be, you know, like I'm not being an asshole about it. I'm literally just taking you through the process so that you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Jamie said to elaborate on move and hold. All right. Move and hold is very simple. We're going to actually, we're going to observe it. It'll happen. We'll get one. We'll get one. But basically, to answer that, move and hold simply means if you look at the way that the price is moving, like how it's moving, the price is moving up or down as far as the numbers. So the micro pip is either increasing or decreasing, okay? But in addition to just increasing and decreasing, it does it by a certain number. That represents the speed. So if you're seeing that last digit, that micro pip is moving one at a time, down or up, that's the speed we want. We want 1, okay? Let's say that it's moving at 2. So instead of it moving 1 micro pip at a time, every time it moves and it increments, it's doing it at 2 micro pips at a time. That represents too much speed for us. Because anytime there's speed in the market, you'll see that the micro pip number will jump around. It might move 2, then it'll go back to 1, then it might go to 3. And I'm referring right now to the speed in the market. What speed does in the market is it creates basically erratic movement. In other words, instead of it being a clean move in one direction, it'll be a messy, sloppy move in both directions, where the market is just going back and forth, jerking. That's why you hear the different terminologies that we use. Jerk, because that's exactly what it is. A jerk is a jerk, because that's not the behavior that we know we would want to see if we were in the trade. So just think of it in terms of, all right, you have these price levels, right? And these lines are laid across the chart. You're either buying or selling. It's a binary. It's a binary. You're buying or you're selling. If you're selling, as an example, price has to stay underneath the line. If you're buying, vice versa, it has to stay above the line. So now we have to deal with the market, because the market is going to decide where the price ends. So if the market is deciding where it's going to end and position itself, and then that decides whether we win a trade or not, then we're now dependent on what the market is doing and how it's doing it. Because the way that it moves is going to determine where it's going to end up at. Not necessarily which direction it's moving. It's the way that it's moving. Because it could be moving in one direction, but if there's jerk present in the market, it'll move in one direction, and it could easily just reverse and go right back in the opposite direction while you're in the trade. And if you're in that trade and you were in for a buy and the price reverses on you and goes the opposite direction, you lose the trade. So if you don't understand that behavior is determined by the speed, and the speed is ultimately what we're making sure that we're always on top of. We need to know what the speed in the market is. That's why our requirement is 1 micro pip. Because if you're in a trade, and this is the simple question to always ask yourself when you get confused. If I'm in a trade, right? If I'm in the trade, how do I want the price to move? That's the question. So if you're buying, for example, let's say that you're on this line right here. If you bought this line, you know that the price staying above this line means you win money. So how do you want the price to move relative to where this line is? You want it to move away from the line, right? The further away that the price gets from the line, it increases your chance of the price staying away from the line by the end of the binary. At the end, if price stays away from the line, you won the trade. So when you hear me say move and hold, We know that price moves. Okay, now we have to deal with how it is moving. Well, how do we want it to move? Well, we want it to move slow. How else do we want it to move? We want it to move smooth and in one direction with stability. Not candles, movement. How is it moving? Look at how it's moving. This is why you have to study the behavior, because you're literally sitting there watching how it's moving at the end of the binaries. If you're seeing too much speed, you know that ain't it. If you're seeing jerk, that ain't it. You're seeing it's reversing and coming back and forth and moving in both directions in that last minute, that ain't it. These are all behaviors that you know we don't want. We only want one behavior. Up, up, and away. Or down, down, and away. If you're in a trade, just like if you were positioning yourself to take this trade, you see how right now the price is under the line? All the price needs to do is just continue to move, 1 micropip at a time. When it moves above the line, if it's moving at a speed of 1, and you know that the behavior is holding at the end, when it moves and it positions itself, if it holds at the end, that's going to be a win. Move and hold. Not move and jerk. Not go up and then come back down, go back and forth, threaten your strike price and come back and forth to threaten your actual trade. Not that. Just move away from my line and stay wherever you move to. Move away from the line, stay wherever you move to. So in other words, what's another word for stay? Hold. Right? Stay put. Hold tight. It means stay there. Wherever you go, stay there. Wherever you went. This is what we're looking at the market. Or I should say looking for the market to do. So this is what is describing move and hold. Justin is saying, how do you avoid the spikes? The spikes represent the exact behavior that I'm describing when I say jerk. If you're seeing that there's speed in the market, like you saw that, did you see that just now? You see how it was at 896, now it's at 892? It just pulled back by 4 micropips. That is too much speed. That's too much speed. So what does that mean? Well, if it's doing that during the binary that you're observing, you have to ultimately see how it ends. So we're watching the end of the binaries. Like if you look at the way that I have these rectangles put on the chart, they're on the last minute of every binary. Because right now we're doing the play-by-play. We're literally reading the market. We're allowing the market to tell us what type of behavior is present. We already know that the market is in a slow condition. But during this slow condition, the speed and the price is still present because it will interject, and sometimes you'll see bursts of speed. That's those jerks that you're talking about. And it's like, well, how do you avoid jerks? Well, for one, we don't even consider taking a trade until we see a trade. Well, what does that mean? We need to see the trade that we would want to be in. You see how easy it gets? Like, listen to what I just said. You want to see the trade that you would want to be in before you take the trade. You don't know in advance that the trade is going to give you the behavior that you want until you watch it. So you need to see a trade that you would want to have been in, giving you all of the behavior that you want, which is clean move and stay wherever it moves to. Move and hold. And on top of that, the parameters that we use to validate the trade, all of those have to be met as well. So you need your parameters to be met, and you need the behavior of the market to also, at the end of that binary, hold. And you want that movement to be smooth and stable and slow. So basically, we're waiting for a lot. But we're waiting for what the market ultimately does do. But the market decides when it wants to do it. That's the part that everyone has such a hard time with. Well, when is the market going to give me a trade? Whenever it feels like giving you a trade. And that's a good question. Matt is saying Mark's rule has to be perfect, a perfect trade in every way. Yes. And when you say that, I want you to understand the dynamic of what you're talking about when you say that specifically. Because what you're saying is that you need the right environment. What's the right environment that we want to be in? Off top. What environment do we want to be in? Slow. Okay, boom. So that's our checklist. All right, we got a slow market. After we see that we're in a slow market, now what do we need? Justin said time. Right. Yes. You're right. Jorge said move and holds. Bingo. That's progression. Gage said Mark's rule MRMH. Now, I want you guys to realize, you see how everybody's saying something different? You're saying things that are different, but everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone is saying what is leading up to MRMH. Clean, move, and hold. Clean, move, and hold with Mark's rule, meaning that a trade set up, validated, and gave you move and hold at the end. That's what MRMH is. It means a trade set up during the environment that we want to be in, which is a slow condition, and it gave us move and hold. Yeah, Mike, Mark's rule just simply means that according to our parameters for entering into a trade, and we'll see if this one sets up. This one right here might actually set up. We're going to watch this. So you still look, we're at 1 minute and 15 seconds. So we're under the minute 30 mark, right? We're going to continue to watch this. Our parameters are that we need the price here. Well, it's doing something else now. It's jerking. So it ain't going to do it. Not on the buy side anyway. But anyway, you need this price to be 5 micro pips either above or below your strike price. That's one. That's the first parameter. After you are seeing that you have the distance, now you need your speed to continue to be at 1. In other words, if it's moving anywhere, it needs to move only 1 micro pip at a time. Okay? Let's say that you have those 2 parameters met. Boom. We continue on. Now, as it's moving, we don't want to see it move back. So in other words, if we're selling, that means price is under the line. We know clean, move, and hold means it's moving and it's holding. So if it's holding, it's not moving back, is it? That would mean it's moving clean away from the line, and it's not moving back. So there would be no back tick. And I'm talking like this so you can associate the words with the terminology with the meaning. Back tick is when price moves back towards your line. That we don't want that. That disqualifies the trade. It's the same thing that a jerk does when you're looking at behavior. If you know that you want the price to move away in one direction from whatever line is in play, you need it to move away and to stay away. Don't move and then start coming back and creeping back down towards my line. I don't want to see that. If I see that, that's jerk. That's jerkiness in the market. The market is moving back and forth. Is that how you want price to move if you're in the trade? Of course not. So that's not what you want to see before you take a trade. So basically, all of the behaviors that you don't want to see before you take a trade, the market should not be presenting any of that behavior to you by the time it decides to line up, get in sync, and give us a trade. Well, how do you know when the market is going to do that? Mark's rule, move and hold. That's how we know. When we get Mark's rule and it moves and it holds during that trade in a slow condition, that's permission right there. That's the market telling you, all right, I'm here. I might do it again. This is what happened earlier today. This literally happened today in the group chat. Literally. We had a Mark's rule that's set up. Behavior was move and hold. We looking at the chart, and y'all can go back and scroll back, and you'll see. I think I had said at the time, I was like, this one might set up. Just like that. This one might set up. Next thing you know, it sets up. Next thing you know, those of us who took the trade, in the trade, and when you go back and look in the group chat, you'll see, I forgot who it was. Somebody said, I'm in it. Who was that said that? I know Quentin took it too. I know Quentin took it, Jay Carly. Did Shawnee take it? Somebody else had took it too. I forgot who it was, but they said, literally in the chat, I'm in it. Was it Shawnee? Okay, cool. You see? So we call that synergy because we're all looking at the same thing. We already knew that we had permission to take that trade because there was already a Mark's rule on the chart. The market already gave off a trade and it won. And it was move and hold. And we were in a slow condition at that time. And the trade set up. We had favorable pricing. It didn't give us a lot of time. You kind of had to take it right away, but it was there. And all of that comes in due time. Like when you allow the market to give us everything that you need to have before you looking to take a trade, your confidence is in rock solid. First of all, you're not taking a trade that's not valid and that is not positioned during a slow condition. That's one. Two, you want to see a trade set up, validate, and win, and give you the behavior before you decide to do anything. So this means that there will be days where you don't take a trade at all. There's going to be days where there won't be trades, period. So understanding that dynamic is what really makes it a lot easier, because all you have to do when you get on the chart is wait for Mark's rule, move and hold in a slow condition. If you do that literally every time that you get on the chart, it either happens or it don't happen. If it happens, be prepared to take a trade. If it don't happen, be prepared to keep your money in your account and do nothing. You see how simple that is? So this is what this is all about for us. We're simplifying the entire process all the time. Your job is to simplify what you do, period. Period. Who was asking about price out? Jamie? I'm going to show you an example on the chart. I'll pull up a ticket on this next binary right here. And look, you can still see the behavior. Look at how it's moving. Look at how it's moving. It's moving nice right now. This is if you were in a sell, the way that it was moving just now, that's exactly how you would want it to move if you were in the trade. That's a move and hold. This right here was a move and hold just now for whoever was asking about it earlier. That was a clean move and hold. Market ain't moving fast. It's moving, but it's only moving 1 micro pip at a time, and it's staying where it moves to. So you can see how it built that candle. That candle was built through slow, stable movement. If you're questioning the speed while you're looking, if you see anything that is faster than 1 micro pip, it's too fast. But understand also, when we're making reference to speed, we're also talking about the speed before you enter the trade. There are times where the market will accelerate after you're in a trade, but guess what? It's moving in your direction because you did your diligence. You did your due diligence in advance So you already knew that that type of behavior was present. This is why the study is so important, because you're looking at how the price is moving, not just how fast, not just the direction. You're looking at how is it moving. Is it jerking when it moves, or is it actually holding when it's moving? Oh, it's holding when it's moving. Okay. So you can have the market holding, and there will be times when you're already in the trade, the market accelerates, but it holds. So if it accelerates after the fact, you don't have any control after you're in the trade. But it's what led up to you being in the trade. What was it doing then? Was it moving too fast then? If it was moving too fast then you shouldn't be in the trade. Because high speed is going to disqualify the trade anyway. That's not our parameter. Our parameter is 1 micropip of speed, period. And just, you know, with practice, I think Justin, it's your first day, so I know everything is new and fresh. Continue to watch the videos, and as you're attending the live training, it'll just open up. Like, did you watch 92 or 55 yet in its entirety? Did you watch either one of those today? Which one? You watch both and number 6? Okay. The next one I want you to watch is 175. And after you watch 175, go back to 92 and then watch 55 and then watch 175 again in that order. Okay, so next video, 175, and then go back to 92, 55, and 175. Just like that. Okay? All right, cool. All right, before I go any further, all right, Matthew's here. Matthew, you ready? Bingo, my man. All right, you should be able to unmute. Let me see if I could do it too. Matthew, you there?
Can you hear me? I'm here.
Loud and clear. What's happening, man?
Not much, man. Just living and learning and trading. That's about it, man.
That's it. That's it. So talk to us, man. Talk to us and share your journey with everyone.
Well, I came across Nadex, I think it was last year, late October, early November, somewhere around there. I never traded anything in my life. I knew about the markets, never really looked into it. Always thought that you had to have a ton of money to actually get started in it, or risk a ton of money to get started in it, which I hate losing, so that just wasn't an option for me. But when I found Nadex, I told myself I'm going to figure out how to do this. So I opened up that demo account, and without any training, I just went in and was throwing a bunch of shit at the wall, trying to figure out what I was doing. And then I came across, I looked up and I on YouTube, I saw some videos of you on YouTube. And then I was watching I don't know if you were in a Starbucks, or I think you were in a Starbucks, and you were sipping on a latte, and you was like, oh, that's so good. That's just delicious. And then took the trade like as you were sipping the latte, and I was like, damn, like this dude. He really knows what the hell he's doing. He's just like chilling in Starbucks, like just sipping on latte, looking around, looking at the people or whatever. And he's like, yep, chicken dinner, winner, chicken dinner. pull up what you won and all that. And I was like, so I was watching. I went back and watched all the videos that you had posted before then, and then each day I was waiting for the new one to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how, by watching those videos, you weren't saying what you were doing in them, but I was paying attention to what you were doing, and I started picking up on it. So I would emulate what I thought you were doing in demo, and I was winning. And I built my demo account back up above what the 25,000 that they give you to start off with, based off of just that. So I gave myself a date, January 10th. I was going to go live. That was the date. And I would practice and practice and practice. I'd go home. I'd be at work practicing. I was in car sales at the time. And I actually worked with a couple guys that had signed up for training, Jason and Jamin. Two of the guys that I used to work with, they're signed up. But I would go home. I'd be at work on my laptop, sitting in the corner waiting on appointments for customers or whatever, and I'd just be studying and trading and studying and trading. Listen to a video, then I'd emulate what I saw. Listen to a video, I'd emulate what I saw. But then I signed up for the training roughly about 2 weeks after I went live. But before that, before I signed up for training, I was winning trades. I had won based off of what I saw you doing, without knowing what your parameters were. So now I signed up for the training and then found out the parameters, and from there things really took off. Because I would give myself tests. Like I start off, before you were doing this, I was doing it like a month before you were doing it, not telling anybody that I was doing it. I would start off each day with $100, and then I'd trade like 2 or 3 times that day to see how I could actually make that work. And then I take that profit out, and I start the next day with $100. I did that for about 3 or 4 weeks, just to see how I could actually do it. And because when you just have $100 in your account, you have to be precise.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't lose. You have to be precise, and you have to be patient, and you have to know that when you take that trade, you pull that trigger, that's the one. Yep. So I did that for about 3 or 4 weeks, and long story short, from there, watching the videos, like I never come on to the live training. I'm always just watching videos. I got a 2-year-old son. He's a busy boy. But I was working at the time 50 to 60 hours a week. So by the time I got home, training was damn near done. Then I'm trying to spend time with him, so it just didn't work out for that. But since then, this is all I do. I just trade. So I left the job I was working. I mean, I was making good money. I replaced that money. While I was working there, I learned to replace what I was making there and double that before I decided that it was time for me to go. So I can consistently I broke it down by the day of what I was making there, and then I doubled that. So I consistently got to that point of doubling that, and now I'm here. So I watch videos every day. I've probably watched video number 55 50, 60 times already. And I go back to that one. That's my go back to, like, when I feel like if I take a couple trades in a day, and during the time that I'm in the trade, if the trade back ticks a couple times, even though it didn't get me, I still go back and let me reboot what I was doing, and I'll listen to that video again.
Right.
Just because something's off if they're backticking on me.
Yes. Woo.
So I do that, and then every morning I wake up, I listen to the video from the night before, and sometimes I'm listening to videos while I'm actually trading, looking at the charts. I trade the Aussie dollar, but I see what's going on in the group chat. I don't say too much just because it doesn't pertain to me, but Yeah, I'm paying attention to what's going on. Somebody has a question, I answer every now and then if I'm there when it pops up. But the training for me, like I said, I've never had anything to do with the markets before this. And then I got started and started winning based off of YouTube videos that I saw you doing. And then from there, the training took me to the point where this is all I do. So
Jesus.
I had time to do what I need to do. Got rid of a 50 or 60 hours a week work, and then I can just do a couple of trades a day and go and do what I need to do.
Oh my goodness.
So
man, you just gave me serious goosebumps just telling your story, man. That's amazing. That is amazing. Like, and just to bring to light some of the points that you were reiterating, the fact that you were at work on your job, and that is where you actually developed the skill that you needed for when it came time to leave the job. Which I know,
right.
I've made mention of that many times because that's what I did. Like when I was working, I didn't just up and quit and leave my job. I was making sure that my earnings, exactly what you said, double what I was earning from the job. That's what I know I'm in position to earn from trading. Then I knew it was time. Yep. And that's basically what you just said that you did. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, because like when I started out, I was taking 3, 4, 5 trades a day. Like,
right.
That's what I was doing. I remember telling you the first time, yeah, I took 4 trades a day. You're like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm like, well, but I want them all. I'm thinking to myself, I want them all. Right. But then I started thinking about, well, okay, if I just scale up instead of taking more trades, I'm getting the same out of it, and I'm doing less.
Yes.
So that's what I started doing, and I'll take 2 trades. Sometimes just 1. Sometimes I don't get any, but I'm cool with that too. But when they come in abundance, and they take care of what I needed to take care of. Because I was replaced. If people break it down to like I don't know, you don't need to talk money on these, but if you break it down by the day or by the trade or how long it takes you to get a single trade, if it takes you 20 minutes of watching the market to get 1 trade, and you trade 1 contract and you get a profit of $15 out of that, you just walked by and saw $15 on the floor. That's basically what you did, and you just went for a 20-minute walk to do it.
Right.
So if you can walk around for 20 minutes, pick up $15 here, $15 there, by the end of the week or the end of the day, you got a pocket full of money. And you're not even thinking about, well, how much I actually did it. You just know, oh, well, I found some over here. I found some over here. I found some over here. It adds up. It's like
man.
putting quarters in a piggy bank every single day. And then at the end of the year, you're looking at you got a boatload of money.
Yes. Yes.
So it adds up quick. I mean, I didn't think it would be this. I thought it would be good. I didn't think it would be this. So, I mean, to the people that are getting in now, like when I first started training, it was a little bit different. Right now, it's if you come in, it's the most straightforward that it's been, where you can pick up and learn it if you actually do what's there, and the two I call them 2 P's: your patience and parameters. Those 2 things will set you free from whatever it is that you need to do. your patience, and the parameters. So if you get those two things and you follow those two things, no matter what, even if you get your market study wrong, even if you get that wrong, the parameters will set you straight. So if you get those two things, you're patient and you're not trying to force yourself into something, and you stick to it, you'll be fine and you'll keep winning. And before you know it, it'll be a month, 2 months, or 3 months before you lost. And if you do lose, it's not a big deal. It'll be like, whatever, man. I know I can't win them all. You just shake it off and you keep it moving. But when you get going and you look back and you see the progress, it's a light. It's a blessing.
It really is.
I think I'm thankful for being able to find you and Enrico and the things that you guys have done, and what you keep doing. I'm thankful every day, because all I knew when I found Nadex was that I was going to figure it out. I didn't know how I was going to figure it out.
Right.
I just knew that, well, I could figure this out. And then from there, finding your videos and getting into training, it took off from there. So the people that are here, you're in a good spot. You're in a great spot. You just have to do what's being laid down for you. You don't have to reinvent anything. You just keep going.
So they got a couple of questions for you. Someone is asking, how many contracts were you trading when you left your job?
I was at 30.
I feel like I'm a psychic sometimes. I literally knew that you were going to say that. That's crazy.
Yep. I was at 30, and I was only taking 2 trades a day.
Right. Yep. Joshua was asking, how did you factor in things like health insurance bills into your contract sizes to determine what it would take to trade full time?
Well, I was making, at my job, it averaged out to be, it broke down to be just over $400 a day that I had to replace. So it wasn't a small amount that I had to replace. So I got to a point where I was between $800 and $900 a day that I was making. And then I factored in, you have to price out your insurance. You want to put aside the extra half that you're making above the just in case for the taxes, because I had no idea how this is going to break down for that. And then I'm still living. I'm able to do everything that I was doing before and not have to worry about anything happening. I don't have to go anywhere. I can wake up and be in my underwear and socks if I feel like it.
Yes, all day.
Do what I need to do. Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about time. You got time freedom.
Exactly. That was the biggest thing for me. Yeah, the money's great. The biggest thing for me is freeing up time, because I can't replace that. I can replace money. I can't replace the time. So that was the biggest thing for me. That was why I looked into Nadex and doing something different. And because working 50, 60 hours a week that's for the birds, man. Yeah, people do it and some people enjoy it. I just got to that point where I got to do something different. So
right, you just ain't cut from that cloth.
No. And my dad's business wasn't cut from me. I'm not into landscaping. I did that when I was a kid. I'm not doing that. So I'm not meant for that either. So yeah, I mean, people can do it. Jay Card asked you a question. I started with $1,000. So when I started trading, right off the bat, I was at 10 contracts. I had $1,000 in my account, and I started with 10 contracts.
Jay Carly talking about she needs you to be in the chat more, bro.
I can figure that out. I can figure that out. Yeah, I see everybody doing well. So, I mean, it's a great thing to see. That's my motivation. I see people winning trades. I get motivated by that stuff. So, and hopefully everybody else does. I like to see people winning. I just like to see people winning.
Period.
Well, Jacob, it's not like I never lost. So it wasn't like I never lost. I won a lot of trades before I got in, but I was trading a lot, and I shouldn't have been trading a lot. I won trades that I probably shouldn't have won, which gave me a false sense of confidence in what I was doing. But I think I lost my second trade the day before I signed up for training because that was one too many for me, and that's when I signed up. So I don't know if I actually had the same patience that I have now. Well, I know I didn't, because now I'm just like, whatever, it'll happen when it happens. So,
and isn't that a beautiful feeling? Like I totally can relate to that, and that's what I do. Try my best to try to help everyone with, just developing that level of patience, where it's like, you're not really thinking about or concerned about getting trades because you know that the market is going to eventually give you the trade that we are waiting for. Like, you know that it's going to come. So
because there are so many opportunities throughout the day that you have, and it's going to come. So like this 10-minute window that you're looking at something, just because it didn't happen then, doesn't mean it won't happen in the other 24 or 23 hours remaining that you have to look. It's just, there are so many, with the 5-minute binaries, there's so many that come up. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of you being there, for one, and you applying the process. You being patient, not trying to force yourself into something because it keeps getting priced out too early, and you just jump in, then that last candle just spikes up on you. You have to be patient. It will happen. And when it happens and consistently, you see it happening consistently, you'll know I need to stick to what I'm doing because this is adding up. Because, like I said, you keep dropping quarters in the piggy bank. Eventually, the piggy bank is full, and you never have to go digging in it to get anything out of it. Eventually, it's full. What caused me to choose? I really don't know. I just liked, from what I was looking at, I just happened, the times that I could get on, like if I was at work or whatever, I just happened to be looking at it, and not knowing what I was looking at, I was just looking for candles that didn't have wicks. That's it. And so that consistently, to me, the times that I was on had less wicks. That's how I chose it.
Right. Right. That was a good tool for you. And that's a very powerful tool. What he just said, that is a very powerful tool to use. Not to say that that's the reason he's taking trades. You notice he didn't say that. But he's saying that what helped him was just looking at candles that don't have wicks on them. Bingo.
That's all I would get on. And when I looked, and that's how, because that's how I started, that's what I naturally look for right away when I get on, is, are there a bunch of candles with wicks? If I see that, I'm gone. Like it's I don't even have to look at anything else. That I'll go and do something else, and then I'll come back, because it'll always change.
Right.
But that's like the first thing that I look for, just because that's the way I started out, and then I started looking at, are there a bunch of move holes? It's a little jerky here or there, but the first thing, initial look is, are there a bunch of wicks on these candles? And if there are, then there's no need for me to be looking.
Mm. This is good stuff, man. This is good stuff.
I appreciate you letting me be on and tell my journey thus far.
Yes.
It's hard to believe that I'm here at this point already, but man, my eyeballs are on the charts a lot, and my ears were into those videos a lot. So it's shorter than I thought it would be, but I put a lot into it to get to this point. Right. Where I had to. It's a lot to learn, but it's worth it. It's more than worth it. Especially when you don't have to try to figure it out on your own. When you got training that's available to you, that makes it so much better, so much easier. You don't have to trial and error it. Right. And try to figure out how it's done when it's just laid out in front of you. Okay, this is a roadmap to get to where you're trying to get to. If you got a phone with GPS on it and that lady says turn left here, you turn left.
That's it. That's it. Man.
So I'm sure there's other people that want to get on here, but I'm thankful for Team Alliance. It's great energy it's always positive. Everybody's always uplifting to everybody. That's a great thing to see. You don't see that in a group of people these days. I mean, especially in a large group of people. I mean, yeah, you can have friends here and there that'll lift you up, but in a large group of people where most of these people have never met each other or known each other, right. That's a great thing to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A very great culture here that was just developed organically. You know, it's not like it was anything that anyone tried to do. You know, we just became who we are.
Yeah, you don't have to force feed it. It's just the people that are here are looking for something better. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And we're all in the same boat, looking for something better. And that's a good thing that you have that positive reinforcement. Because I would look in the chats. I would never say anything really. I would just look in the chat and seeing people succeed. That always gives you a boost of confidence. Like you're seeing, even if you're just starting out. Because like when I was just starting out, I had no idea, like really no idea what I was doing as far as parameters go. Mm-hmm. But people would talk about this or that. They'd explain things if you didn't know. Right. If you didn't know something, you asked a question, they'd explain it to you, and they took the time to explain it to you, and they were genuine about it. You can feel that, and so it makes you. It gives you a boost of confidence that you got somebody. First, you have somebody that has your back, and you are going to figure it out. And people, if you don't get it the first try, people will help you get there. So right. I mean, just stick around. I'm never going anywhere because this is the best thing that's ever happened to me outside of my kids and my wife. But because it gave me something that I didn't know how I was going to get, and that was time. So I'm thankful.
Remarkable, man. Remarkable. Well, thank you, man, for coming on. I mean, I asked Matthew to talk about his experience. Without hesitation, he was like, all right, I'll do it tomorrow. That was it. I think that was yesterday when we had that conversation, right?
Yeah.
He was like, all right, I'll let you know when I'll be on training. I was like, okay, cool. He was like, all right, I'll do it tomorrow. I was like, all right. And that was it. You know, just like that. So I definitely appreciate him coming on and sharing. You know, it's so inspiring and motivating. Like, I get motivated by seeing the success of folks here. That's what really drives me personally and keeps me going. Knowing that that's happening just motivates me to go even harder and do more to make it happen for more people. You know, I believe in that. Like, you're going to get back what you're given. So the fact that a lot has been given, you know, has a lot to do with what's happening.
With you can tell that's your fulfillment, is seeing people succeed. You can tell it.
Yes.
You can feel it. You can feel it in the training videos. You can feel it when you're talking about it, or when somebody gets on and they have a question and you're explaining it to them. You can feel it. Because I remember listening to a video. I was with Jason, and we were talking about the level of patience that it takes for someone who is basically an expert in a field to talk to and explain to someone that has no idea what you're talking about, and to get them to understand it. Mm-hmm. That takes an extreme level of patience and care to actually do it, and not belittle someone because they're not getting it the way that you understand it. That, to me, stands out quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure people have picked up on it. I'm sure people have picked on it. I'm not the only one. So I appreciate like I said, I appreciate what you guys do. I appreciate the group, and thank you for letting me share, and for everybody listening, thank you for listening.
Boom, there it is. I told you this training was going to be remarkable. I told y'all. Yeah, man. So thanks again, Matthew, man. You know, feel free anytime you want to come on and talk, or you want to share anything at any time. Just let me know. Floor is always yours, my man.
Will do. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Let me go ahead and close everything out.
All right.
Man. It's like, what do you say after that? Ms. Otis said, I said it before, I won't hesitate to say it again. Oh, thank you, Ms. Otis. Thank you. I appreciate that, always. Definitely love you guys, man. You know, I appreciate everyone. I appreciate all the new folks, too, that come on. You know, I get confused a lot of times that some of you are, like, brand new. Like, I didn't even realize Justin just joined. It always feels like y'all have already been here for a while. Because you come in and you just, you know, you fit right in, like, to the culture and to the family that we have here. So, you know, y'all got to forgive me. It'd be a little difficult for me to keep up with everybody, but I definitely appreciate everyone. You know, thanks again, Matthew, for sharing. And, you know, you guys just keep pushing and keep moving, keep going. We all going to get to where we want to get to, and we're going to do it together. So, once again, those of you brand new, videos number 92, number 55, also number 175, number 193, number 202, 206, 207, and tonight. Definitely tonight. You definitely got to watch tonight's video again. I'll be going to sleep with this in my ear, so I want to listen to Matthew's story again. And definitely make sure that you get into the group chat. If you're not in there already, engage in the group chat. You know, we're in there pretty much around the clock. And any questions that you have that you need an answer to, or anybody that, you know, you want to reach out to and talk to in the group chat, there's always somebody around in there that can help you with whatever it is that you need. And okay, thank you, Randy. Tonight is number 210. So this training should be available like in the next 45 minutes or so in the playlist. And that's about it. So I'll see you guys again in training tomorrow. And I'll check you guys in the group chat when we get off from here. And like I said, the training tonight will be available shortly. All right, so everybody, hope you enjoyed the training. Tonight was great, once again. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the group chat. You have a good evening. You stay out the market if it ain't giving you what you know you need, and just keep it moving. All right? All right, everybody. Good night. Peace and love. And so, I'm old, so, I be saying old stuff. All right, everybody. Good night.